saying this is looking weird. You know, there's bad stuff going on here. There's bad vibes between people.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for real-life battles that turned film sets into boxing rings.
You hurt by the memory of that?
I was furious.
Number 10, Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, The Fate of the Furious.
Here's the thing about it, right? So we're all adults.
It's no secret that Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel are not the biggest fans of one another. The two appear together in several of the Fast and the Furious movies, and their feud began in 2016 while filming The Fate of the Furious. That year, Johnson made an Instagram post where he called out his unnamed co-star's lack of professionalism, and even mentioned his blood was boiling in some scenes.
Just like in life, you have different philosophies, and people have different philosophies, different fundamental philosophies on how you do things. And again, the most important thing is just the movie.
Later, Diesel posted a vid where he said he'd tell fans, quote, everything relating to Johnson's post. However, they did go on to state later that they were, in fact, friends.
You ever heard the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
I don't have friends. I got family.
Number 9, Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, The Notebook. On screen in 2004's The Notebook, Ryan Gosling's and Rachel McAdams' chemistry was a sight to behold.
There was just a feeling there, just everything sort of fit and everything worked, and it was the best audition experience I've ever had.
One could never guess that behind the scenes, they were at odds. According to the film's director, Nick Cassavetes, at one point, Gosling requested another actress be brought in to read with him off camera because he felt McAdams wasn't giving him, quote, anything.
But Rachel came in and we said, do you want to talk about it? She's like, no. We're like, nothing, you don't want to? She's like, no, just let's do it.
Another time, the two got into a screaming match during a meeting with a producer. In a plot twist that no one saw coming, the two eventually went from enemies to lovers and dated for 2 years after filming.
It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
Number 8, Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, Mad Max Fury Road.
Did you witness any beef between Charlize and Tom Hardy on the set of Mad Max?
Huh. Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road was one of the hottest films of 2015, and it's no wonder, considering tempers on set were blazing hot. Co-stars Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy went head-to-head in what resulted in an explosive feud. One day, tired of Hardy's tardiness, arriving to set hours after his call time, Theron called out the Dunkirk actor, which he did not react well to. It got so bad that Theron later confessed that she felt, quote, threatened and had to request, quote, protection. Eventually, things settled down between the two. Hell hath no fury like two actors scorned.
We were either fighting or we were icing each other. I don't know which one is worse. And they had to deal with it in the back. It was horrible.
Number 7, Klaus Kinsky and Werner Herzog, Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Klaus Kinsky and Werner Herzog's working relationship was the epitome of volatile.
Wir waren zusammen ja wie zwei kritische Massen, die eine gefährliche Mischung ergaben, wenn sie in Berührung kamen.
The hot-headed actor and the stubborn director came to many verbal blows over the 5-week shoot of Aguirre, The Wrath of God. In fact, Kinsky was so angered by the noise of cast and crew playing a game of cards that he fired a gun, causing a background actor to lose the top of their finger. However, the drama didn't end there.
Ich bin der Zorn Gottes. Die Erde, über die ich gehe, sieht mich und bebt.
Herzog threatened to shoot himself and Kinsky after the actor planned to walk off the job because Herzog wouldn't fire a crew member. Surprisingly, the two would go on to work together many more times, and Herzog even made a documentary about their complicated relationship.
Und doch gehörten wir zusammen. Wir waren bereit, miteinander unterzugehen. Ich sehe uns zurück im Dschungel, zusammen in einem Boot. Die ganze Welt gehört uns. Aber Klaus scheint davonfliegen zu wollen.
Number 6, Bill Murray and Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels.
This feels like it could be the first day of the last of my life, you know what I mean? Or the last day of the first of my life, or something. I think I'm in trouble.
Bill Murray's behavior on the action comedy flick Charlie's Angels was anything but angelic. The Lost in Translation actor took his anger out on his co-star Lucy Liu after a rehearsal went sideways.
As we're doing the scene, Bill starts to sort of hurl insults.
According to Lou, Murray was upset over some rewrites and, for some odd reason, directed his wrath towards her. While appearing on the podcast Asian Enough in 2021, Lou stated that she defended herself against him during the heated spat, referring to his words as, quote, inexcusable and unacceptable.
Some of the language was inexcusable and unacceptable, and I was not going to just sit there and take it.
Unsurprisingly, Murray did not return for the 2003 sequel, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Number 5. Faye Dunaway and Roman Polansky, Chinatown. The tensions on the set of 1974's Chinatown are as legendary as the film itself. The picture's star Faye Dunaway and director Roman Polansky went head-to-head on numerous occasions.
Over you or over the water department?
Not over me. Why should it be over me?
After Polansky plucked a strand of hair from the star's head so he could get his ideal shot, things got heated and Dunaway walked off set. Both parties claimed the other was acting out of turn, which resulted in a he-said-she-said situation.
Well, I'm judging only on the basis of one afternoon and an evening, but if this is how you go about your work, I'd say you'd be lucky to get through a whole day.
Things escalated further when Polansky refused to allow Dunaway a washroom break. Legend has it that the actress then urinated into a cup and threw it in the controversial director's face.
I'll drop the lawsuit.
What?
I said I'll drop the lawsuit. So let's just drop the whole thing.
Number 4. Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando and Richard Stanley and John Frankenheimer, The Island of Dr. Moreau. This on-set feud was a quadruple threat. From the get-go, The Island of Dr. Moreau was doomed. First of all, director Richard Stanley was fired via a fax after less than a week of filming and replaced by John Frankenheimer.
Nothing really changed in terms of efficiency when he got there. I was only meant to be there for 3-4 weeks. I was there for like 6 months.
The latter didn't know what he was getting himself into, as this was just the beginning of things. One of the film's leads, Val Kilmer, was going through a divorce, which resulted in him being hostile and aggressive towards his peers.
Val was best described by someone as a prep school bully.
On top of that, he and his co-star Marlon Brando did not get along. Brando also acted like a total diva, refusing to learn new material and to leave his trailer. In fact, a whole documentary was created about the disaster in 2014.
The whole whiteface wearing sunglasses meant that Marlon Brando's stand-in could do quite a lot of the picture for him.
Number 3. George Clooney and David O. Russell, Three Kings.
This is a media war. A media war. You better get on board. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to straighten you out.
Director David O. Russell is no stranger to on-set spats. While filming the pic Three Kings in the late 90s, O. Russell fostered a toxic work environment, allowing his explosive temper to reign.
What was that?
Eventually, star George Clooney had had enough of his antics and confronted him about the way he was treating people. Things got so heated that the two men got into a physical altercation. Unfortunately, O. Russell didn't learn his lesson and continued to get into fights with his actors, like Lily Tomlin in I Heart Huckabees, and also making his performers like Amy Adams in American Hustle cry.
He cares about nobody but a very few people on a short list. His son, his father, Rosalind, and you think you're on the top of the list. What if you're not? What if you're not on that list?
Number 2. Shelley Duval and Stanley Kubrick, The Shining.
You've got to look desperate, Shelley. You're just wasting everybody's time now.
I can't even get this door open.
The 1980 horror flick The Shining is often regarded as one of the scariest films of all time. But for star Shelley Duval, it was especially horrifying. It's been well documented that director Stanley Kubrick was cruel to and harsh on Duval, forcing her to do an unreasonable amount of takes, which required her to physically exert herself by screaming, running, and crying. He'd also praise her co-star Jack Nicholson while never offering her any positive reinforcements, even demanding that no one show her, quote, sympathy.
Has it ever occurred to you what would happen to my future if I were to fail to live up to my responsibilities? Has it ever occurred to you? Has it?
The stress of this abuse was so bad that it resulted in Duval losing her hair and ruining her voice. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? It's the feud that shook Hollywood.
It was that comedy directed by Lloyd, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was a love story.
Bette Davis and Joan Crawford are icons of the silver screen, and their hatred toward each other is legendary.
I know, isn't it incredible we're forever linked? We made one film. It's funny that remained.
Things started long ago over petty publicity stunts, but they escalated when Crawford became engaged to Franchot Tone, who Davis was in love with. From there, the two hated each other, but eventually went on to star in 1962's horror classic Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. While filming, Davis allegedly actually hit Crawford while performing a fight sequence.
You've got to come over right away. Please, before she comes back.
I don't quite understand. Is this some kind of emotional disturbance you're talking about?
Yes. Yes, she's emotionally disturbed.
Then, the latter wore a weighted belt to make it difficult for the former to drag her around during a scene. Decades later, their infamous dispute was made into a series by Ryan Murphy starring Susan Sarandon and Jessica Lange.
Does she have to stand there? She's not the director. Why is she standing there?
Well, if I were the director, I'd tell you to do it again. And again until it was convincing.
Which feud do you think was the wildest? Let us know in the comments.
The time has come. Legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.